The crystalline spires of Xylo's prime pierced the nebulae, each facet reflecting the cold, indifferent light of distant suns. Within the grand conclave chamber, a vast expanse of polished obsidian and bioluminescent flora, the silence was a palpable entity, heavy with the weight of millennia and the gnawing uncertainty of a species facing the unknown. At the apex of the tiered seating, where the very air thrummed with the resonant frequencies of concentrated psionic energy, sat the matriarch, a being of profound antiquity whose form, a shimmering tapestry of light and shadow, betrayed no outward emotion, yet whose presence commanded absolute attention. Before her, the Galactic Directorate, a council of 13 species, each embodying distinct evolutionary paths and millennia-old rivalries, debated with a hushed urgency that spoke volumes of their collective disquiet. Ambassador Kalen of the Verdant Ascendancy, his serpentine form coiled with barely restrained agitation, slithered towards the central nexus. His vocalizations, a series of sibilant whispers and sharp clicks, echoed unnervingly in the cavernous space. The reports are consistent, Matriarch. Across multiple sectors, the designation Earth has been bombarded. Not a strategic strike, not a probe, but a systematic, aggressive campaign of annihilation. Against a species, we understand, that has barely ventured beyond its own star system. He gestured with a segmented limb towards the vast holographic projection hovering above the chamber floor. A swirling eddy of light depicted a vibrant, blue-green world, now marred by violent crimson tendrils spreading across its surface like a planetary plague. High Counselor Valerius of the Iron Imperium, a colossus of biomechanical augmentation, his metallic voice a deep rumble, countered Kalen's unease with a more practical, albeit still apprehensive, pragmatism. Annihilation implies intent, Ambassador. What intent could possibly be served by the destruction of a nascent species? Their technology is rudimentary, their influence negligible. Unless this is a message, a demonstration of power to a greater, unseen force. But to whom, and by whom? His optics, glowing twin emeralds, scanned the faces of his peers, seeking a flicker of recognition, a hint of understanding. None was forthcoming. The Zidonian delegate, a being of pure energy contained within an intricate crystalline lattice, pulsed with a subtle internal luminescence that indicated distress. Its telepathic communication, a gentle wave of shared thoughts and emotions, washed over the chamber. We have intercepted fragments of their communication, crude transmissions, filled with anger, fear, yet interspersed with moments of stoic resolve. It is a paradox that strains our understanding. They defend themselves with a ferocity that belies their technological limitations. Who are these humans that such an overwhelming force would target them with such finality? Across the chamber, the sculpted, emotionless visage of Prime Strategist Lauren of the Obsidian Dominion remained impassive. His species had long mastered the art of detached observation, of analyzing threats and opportunities with cold, unblinking logic. But even Lauren's composure was subtly frayed. The aggressors are unknown. No known fleet designation, no recognized weapon signatures. Their ships are anomalous. Their operational patterns are chaotic, yet devastatingly effective. They appear to disregard established galactic warfare doctrines. It is as if they are fighting with instinct, not strategy. His voice, a low, resonant baritone, carried an edge of profound disquiet. And the scale of the response, it is disproportionate to any conceivable threat posed by Earth. Unless, as Valerius suggested, this is not about Earth itself, but about demonstrating a capacity for brutal efficiency to a greater power. The matriarch, her luminous form rippling gently, finally broke her silence. Her voice, a chorus of 1,000 ethereal whispers, resonated not just in their auditory senses, but within the very core of their beings. The designation Earth has been flagged in ancient archives, a world of significant genetic potential long dormant, a species that was observed, but deemed not yet ready for integration into the galactic tapestry, for them to be attacked in this manner. It is an unprecedented transgression against the non-interference protocols, even against a species so isolated. She paused, her light dimming momentarily, a sigh of ancient sorrow. The question is not just who is attacking Earth, but why would they risk such a blatant violation? What is so significant about this world, or its inhabitants, that warrants such extreme measures? The holographic display shifted, focusing on a single point within the Earth system. A pale blue moon, battered and scarred by cosmic debris, orbited the ravaged planet. On its surface, a small orbital defense platform, barely a speck against the celestial canvas, continued to fire its kinetic projectors with a desperate, futile defiance. The projectiles, mere pebbles against the vastness of space, streaked towards the approaching onslaught of alien vessels. "Look," Kalen hissed, his segmented body tensing. "Their defenses, they are attempting to repel the invaders. Despite the overwhelming odds, they know they cannot win, yet they fight." Valerius grunted, a sound like grinding metal. "Madness, or a profound, self-destructive conviction. We have seen species fight to the last individual, but never with such a palpable understanding of their impending doom." Lauren adjusted the optical sensors on his augmented form, his internal processors working at unimaginable speeds, sifting through terabytes of data. "The energy signatures are unlike anything in our databases. Their propulsion systems, they seem to warp spacetime on a localized level, not through conventional warp cores or hyperspace jumps. It is elegant, brutal, and terrifyingly efficient. They arrive, they devastate, they disappear, leaving only silence." The great navigator, a being whose species had charted the known galaxy for eons, its body a delicate crystalline structure that pulsed with the light of distant quasars, chimed in with its own observations. "Their attack patterns are not random. There is a chilling predictability to their movements, despite their apparent aggression. They target infrastructure, communication hubs, planetary defense systems. They seek to cripple, to disarm before engaging. It is the logic of a predator, not a barbarian." The matriarch's luminous form intensified, a silent command for focus. "The Directorate has convened. We have witnessed a brutal, unprovoked act of aggression against a defenseless species. The aggressors remain unidentified, their motives opaque. We must understand the nature of this threat, not just for the sake of Earth, but for the stability of the entire galactic order. If such power can be wielded with such impunity, then no world is safe. No species can consider itself secure." She turned her gaze, a beacon of ancient wisdom, towards the silent, swirling void depicted on the display, where the fate of Earth was being decided by forces unknown. "We will dispatch a diplomatic envoy. Subtly, we will observe, we will attempt to communicate, but we will be prepared for whatever lies beyond this unprovoked, inexplicable invasion." The chamber pulsed with a renewed sense of purpose, yet the undertone of fear, of profound uncertainty, remained, a constant companion in the face of this cosmic enigma. The title of the crisis, etched in the minds of every delegate, hung heavy in the oppressive silence. Councils stunned. They're invading Earth. Who attacks Earth and expects to survive? The answer, it seemed, was a terrifying question in itself. The void between Xylos Prime and the Sol system was a canvas of impossible distances, where nebulae bloomed like cosmic flowers, and the silence stretched into eternities. The diplomatic vessel, the Whisper Wind, was a marvel of verdant ascendancy engineering, designed for unobtrusive observation and rapid egress. Its hull was crafted from adaptive bioluminescent alloys, capable of mimicking the surrounding stellar emissions, rendering it virtually invisible to all but the most sophisticated long-range scanners. Within its tranquil interior, Ambassador Kalen, now accompanied by a small contingent of specialists, pored over the latest, fragmented data streams from the Sol system. The initial reports had been chilling. The offensive against Earth had been swift, brutal, and utterly comprehensive. It had commenced with a silent, blinding wave of exotic energy that had crippled orbital defenses and long-range communication arrays. Then came the swarm. Thousands of vessels, sleek and predatory, descended from the void, their primary objective clearly the systematic dismantling of Earth's technological capabilities. Cities were razed, not with brute force alone, but with surgical precision, their power grids overloaded, their communication networks rendered inert. Yet, amidst the devastation, something perplexing emerged from the data. "The defenders," Kalen stated, his voice a low whisper, his serpentine eyes fixed on the holographic display that now showed a fractured, war-torn Earth. "They are not exhibiting the typical panic and despair one would expect from a species facing such overwhelming odds. Their broadcast fragments are filled with defiance. Not suicidal defiance, but a cold, calculated resilience. They are coordinating their remaining assets, not to repel, but to delay, to minimize further casualties. They are sacrificing infrastructure to save lives." Prime strategist Lauren, his metallic form projecting an aura of unwavering calm, observed the data with an intense, almost predatory focus. His species had honed the art of warfare to a near-religious dogma, but the tactics of the aggressors and the response of the attacked were proving to be a fascinating, disturbing anomaly. They're energy weapons. They are not conventional plasma or kinetic projections. They seem to manipulate gravitational fields, creating localized singularities that disrupt molecular bonds. And their deployment patterns, they do not cluster. They spread, creating a web of destruction that makes coordinated defense nigh impossible. He paused, a faint whirring sound emanating from his internal processors. However, the Earthlings, they are not engaging in reckless counterattacks. They are falling back, consolidating, preserving what they can. It speaks of a tactical discipline that belies their apparent technological inferiority. The Zidonian delegate, Alara, its crystalline form pulsing with soft, inquisitive light, projected its thoughts into the shared consciousness of the envoy. The aggressors, they appear to be coordinated by a singular intelligence, yet their methods are disturbingly impersonal, like a force of nature. There is no strategic preamble, no negotiation attempt, no demand, just eradication. And the Earthlings, in their desperation, are exhibiting remarkable adaptability. Their remaining spacefaring assets are moving not to engage, but to evacuate. To the moons, to the far side of their world. They are prioritizing the survival of their population above all else. Kalen flicked his forked tongue, a subtle gesture of deep consideration. This is not the behavior of a species seeking conquest. Conquest implies subjugation, resource acquisition. These aggressors are destroying, not occupying. They are not claiming territory, they are erasing it. He turned to the human representative, a young woman named Anya Sharma, who stood with an unnerving stillness, her gaze fixed on the desolate image of her home world. Anya, chosen for her exceptional aptitude in linguistics and xenopsychology, had been an anomaly in the Galactic Directorate's selection process, a representative of the very species under attack. Ambassador, Anya's voice was calm, yet it held a resonance that commanded attention. What you perceive as rudimentary technology is, in fact, the result of centuries of focused development. Our recent leap into interstellar awareness was abrupt. We have learned to harness forces that others may have overlooked or deemed too dangerous to explore. Our response is not one of futility, but of calculated preservation. We understand the immediate impossibility of victory against such a force. Our objective is to ensure the continuity of our species, to preserve our knowledge, our culture, and our capacity to one day understand and potentially counter this threat. Valerius, his metallic voice resonating with a grudging respect, addressed Anya directly. Your people's resilience is remarkable, to maintain such composure under such duress. Our sensors detect no panic, no widespread civil unrest beyond the direct impact zones. A cohesive response, even in the face of near-total destruction. Lauren continued his analysis. Their tactics are designed to inflict maximum disruption with minimal commitment of resources. It is an efficiency born of necessity, perhaps, or of a profound understanding of offensive warfare. They are not just destroying, they are disabling. They are rendering Earth incapable of posing a threat, or even of effective resistance in the future. Alara pulsed again. The aggressor's communication or lack thereof is as significant as their actions. They are operating in absolute silence. No calls to surrender, no pronouncements of victory. It suggests their mission is not about recognition or conquest. It is eradication, a cleansing. And this is where our current understanding falters. Why erase a species? What existential threat does a species like humanity pose? Perhaps, Anya interjected, her voice soft but firm, they do not perceive us as a species to be conquered, but as a contagion, something to be purged. Our very existence, our potential, may be perceived as a threat to their own order, their own way of life. Kalen shifted his weight. But what kind of order necessitates such extreme measures? The Galactic Concordat has strict protocols against such unprovoked aggression. To violate them so flagrantly, it speaks of a power that operates outside our established framework, or a desperation that overrides all convention. The Whisperwind drew closer, slipping through the fractured remnants of Earth's orbital infrastructure. The visual data grew more detailed. The alien vessels were unlike anything any of them had ever encountered. They were not built for comfort or aesthetics or even logical utility in the way the Directorate understood. They were instruments of pure, unadulterated destruction. Their hulls were obsidian, absorbing all light, their forms sharp and angular, like shards of solidified darkness. They moved with an unnerving grace, their weapon systems firing with a silent, deadly efficiency. Suddenly, a ripple went through the Whisperwind's crew. Long-range sensors, pushing the limits of their amplification, picked up a faint, anomalous energy signature emanating from the ravaged surface of Earth. It was not the signature of the aggressors, nor of Earth's failing power grids. It was something else entirely. "What is that?" Kalen's vocalizations sharpened with alarm. Lauren's optical sensors narrowed. A concentrated energy surge, not weaponized. It appears to be a broadcast, focused, directed outwards, and it is originating from a single point, deep beneath the surface. Anya's eyes widened, a flicker of something unreadable passing through them. That is impossible. Our planetary defense grid is offline. Our deep core research facilities, they are shielded against all but the most direct impact. The holographic display reoriented, focusing on a specific point on the Eurasian continent, a region designated as Siberia. A faint, pulsating circle of light appeared on the damaged planetary surface, a beacon in the encroaching darkness. The aggressors, Valerius rumbled, they have not detected it, or they have deemed it insignificant. Their focus remains on systematic destruction. Insignificant? Lauren's voice was laced with a rare note of awe. The energy signature, while not overtly hostile, is immense. It dwarfs the output of their own weapons. It is a contained inferno waiting. Alara pulsed intensely. This is it. This is the answer. This energy, it is not a weapon of defense. It is a signal, a message. And the aggressors are trying to silence Earth before that message can be fully transmitted. They are not attacking Earth because it is a threat. They are attacking it to prevent something else from being revealed. Anya's breath hitched. Her gaze was fixed on the pulsating circle of light. It cannot be, she whispered, her voice barely audible. Not yet, it is not ready. The whisperwind accelerated, its adaptive camouflage working overtime. They had to reach the source of that energy signature. They had to understand what Earth in its dying moments was trying to communicate. The silence of the void was broken by a new, chilling realization. The invasion of Earth was not about Earth itself, but about what Earth represented. A secret so profound, so dangerous, that an entire civilization was willing to commit genocide to keep it buried. The question echoed in the minds of the diplomatic envoy, a haunting counterpoint to the title that had brought them here. Who attacks Earth and expects to survive? Perhaps the answer was, anyone who fears what Earth holds. The descent through Earth's fractured atmosphere was a symphony of controlled chaos. The whisperwind, shedding its camouflage, was a silent specter against the fiery backdrop of a dying world. Burning cities painted the night sky with infernal hues, and the metallic tang of atmospheric disruption hung heavy, even within the sealed confines of the diplomatic vessel. The alien aggressors, the architects of this devastation, continued their methodical work, their obsidian ships, vast and inscrutable, moving with a chilling, detached purpose. They were not engaging the whisperwind, nor, it seemed, were they actively seeking it. Their sole focus remained the systematic dismantling of Earth's civilization. Ambassador Kalen, his serpentine form tensed, observed the unfolding tragedy with a mixture of horror and grim fascination. They are not even acknowledging our presence, as if we are insects utterly beneath their notice. Their objective is singular, to prevent any knowledge of this planet, of its inhabitants, from disseminating further. Prime Strategist Lauren, his metallic voice devoid of emotion, provided a stark assessment. Their operational parameters are clear: complete eradication of indigenous technological and cultural infrastructure. They are not seeking to occupy or subjugate. They are seeking to erase. The energy signature detected from beneath the surface is their primary concern, though they appear to be delaying its complete containment until all other viable defenses have been neutralized. The great navigator's crystalline form pulsed with urgency. The transmission is intensifying. It is not a simple broadcast. It is a layered data stream, encrypted with a complexity that we have not encountered before. It is designed to bypass standard interstellar communication protocols, to be perceived only by specific recipients, or by those who know precisely what to look for. Alara, the Zidonian delegate, projected a wave of profound confusion and dawning comprehension. The aggressors, their technology, their swiftness, their ruthlessness, it is not the hallmark of a fledgling empire seeking expansion. It is the execution of a desperate, ancient directive. They are not conquerors, they are exterminators, and their target is not Earth's people, but something on Earth. Anya Sharma, her face etched with a profound weariness but her eyes burning with an unyielding resolve, finally spoke. Her voice, though quiet, carried the weight of her species' struggle. That energy signature, it is the culmination of centuries of human endeavor, not a weapon as you might perceive it. It is knowledge, a legacy. We call it the Stellar Archive. It is our attempt to encapsulate the entirety of human experience, our triumphs, our failures, our art, our science, our very essence, and transmit it to the cosmos. A message in a bottle cast into the cosmic ocean hoping to find understanding. Valerius's amplified optics focused on Anya, his metallic voice a low growl. You believe these aggressors seek to silence your entire civilization to prevent the dissemination of your historical records. Not merely historical records, counselor, Anya corrected, her voice gaining strength. The archive contains not only our past, but our understanding of the universe, our theories, our unanswered questions. It contains the seeds of our future. And perhaps it contains something that the aggressors, or those they serve, deem too dangerous for the galaxy to know. Lauren's internal processors hummed as he analyzed the unfolding situation. The aggressor's objective is thus twofold: to prevent the complete transmission of the stellar archive, and to eliminate any surviving witnesses who might attempt to replicate or understand it. Their methods are consistent with a species that views knowledge as a weapon, or perhaps a contagion. The Whisperwind descended further, aiming for the vast, snow-swept plains of Siberia, the designated location of the primary archive transmission hub. The aggressor's ships, dark specters against the ravaged sky, maintained their cordon, their focus on systematically dismantling the final vestiges of Earth's planetary defense grid. They were not interested in engaging the Whisperwind, but their silent, omnipresent threat loomed large. As they approached the transmission site, a colossal underground complex now partially exposed by the bombardment, a new development occurred. The aggressors, having systematically neutralized the last surface-level defenses, began to converge on the transmission hub. Their obsidian vessels, previously spread out, now formed a tightening noose around the site. Their weapon systems, previously focused on planetary infrastructure, began to target the exposed subterranean facility. They are initiating the final phase, Kalen stated, his voice tight with urgency. They intend to destroy the archive directly. Anya's eyes, wide with a mixture of terror and defiance, met Kalen's. We cannot allow that, not after all we have sacrificed, not after all this world has endured. The situation was becoming increasingly dire. The Whisperwind, designed for observation, was not equipped for direct combat against the aggressors' formidable weaponry. Yet they had come to bear witness, and now, perhaps, to intervene. Ambassador, Lauren's voice was steady, cutting through the tension. Our analysis of the aggressors' energy signatures indicates a critical vulnerability during their deep-penetrating attacks. Their shields, while formidable against conventional energy, are susceptible to focused gravitational distortion. If we can create a sufficiently precise field, we may be able to disrupt their assault on the archive. Anya turned to Lauren, a glimmer of hope igniting in her eyes. Can you do that? Can you shield the archive long enough for the transmission to complete? Lauren's optical sensors pulsed with determination. We can attempt it. It will require precise coordination and the full utilization of our gravimetric stabilizers, but the risk is significant. Their weapons are designed to shatter worlds. Our vessel is a diplomatic envoy, not a warship. As if on cue, the aggressors unleashed a salvo of focused energy beams, tearing into the exposed subterranean complex. The ground shuddered violently. The holographic display flickered, showing the transmission hub buckling under the onslaught. We are running out of time, Kalen hissed, his serpentine body coiling with tension. Then we act, Anya declared, her voice ringing with an unexpected power. We came to understand why Earth was attacked. Now we must ensure its final message is heard. The Whisperwind, with a surge of its gravimetric stabilizers, broke formation. It was a small, defiant spark against the overwhelming darkness of the aggressor's fleet. Lauren's team worked feverishly, their instruments glowing with controlled power. Kalen and Alara focused their psionic abilities, attempting to glean any tactical advantage, any weakness in the aggressor's formations. Anya, her face a mask of grim determination, monitored the data streams from the stellar archive, urging the ancient machines to hasten their transmission. The aggressors, for the first time, seemed to register the Whisperwind's presence. A single, obsidian vessel detached itself from the main assault force and turned its formidable weaponry towards the diplomatic ship. The air within the Whisperwind crackled with a palpable tension. They perceive us as a threat, Valerius grumbled, his metallic voice laced with a grim satisfaction. Good, let them divert their attention even for a moment. Lauren's voice remained unnervingly calm. Gravimetric field generating, shielding protocol engaged, prepare for evasive maneuvers. The whisperwind bucked violently as it absorbed the initial blast from the aggressor's weapon. Warning lights flashed across the control panels. The vessel's hull groaned under the immense pressure. "Hull integrity at 70%, Kalen reported, his vocalizations sharp with alarm. "Archive transmission at 85%, Anya cried out, her gaze fixed on the data. "Just a little longer." Lauren's team pushed their technology to its absolute limits. A shimmering, localized distortion field enveloped the exposed transmission hub, deflecting the worst of the aggressor's assault. The obsidian vessel continued its barrage, but its efforts were now partially thwarted. Suddenly, a blinding flash of light erupted from the transmission hub, engulfing the surrounding area. The aggressor's attack faltered. Their obsidian ships recoiled, as if struck by an unseen force. The whisperwind was buffeted by an immense wave of energy. "The transmission, it is complete," Anya shouted, her voice hoarse with emotion. Lauren, his metallic form vibrating, confirmed the readings. "The stellar archive has been successfully transmitted. The primary objective is achieved." But the aggressor's response was immediate and brutal. The obsidian vessel that had targeted the whisperwind unleashed a devastating, sustained beam of energy. The diplomatic ship, already crippled, was consumed in a blinding flash of light. Within the vast, silent halls of Xylos Prime, the delegates of the Galactic Directorate watched, transfixed, as the final moments of the whisperwind played out on the holographic display. The transmissions of the stellar archive, a gift from a dying world, had been received. A symphony of human knowledge, art, and despair broadcast into the cosmos. The matriarch, her luminous form pulsing with a profound sorrow, addressed the silent chamber. "They have made their final statement, a testament to their resilience, their unwavering spirit, their belief in the value of knowledge and existence. They have paid the ultimate price for their legacy." Ambassador Kalen, his serpentine body now draped in the solemn robes of mourning, projected his thoughts, his voice thick with grief. "We bore witness. We saw the unimaginable brutality, and we saw the indomitable spirit that refused to be extinguished. The aggressors, whoever they may be, have revealed themselves not as conquerors, but as desperate guardians of a terrible secret. They fear the truth that humanity carried within them." High Counselor Valerius, his metallic voice resonating with a newfound respect, added, "The humans, they did not seek to conquer or to destroy. They sought to understand, to preserve, and to share. Their final act was not one of aggression, but of profound generosity. They attacked Earth not to claim it, but to silence the truth it held. And in their attempt to silence that truth, they revealed its immense power." Prime strategist Lauren, his processors still whirring, analyzed the data from the stellar archive. "The aggressors, their modus operandi is consistent with ancient galactic lore. They are the silencers, a clandestine order dedicated to the eradication of species that discover or possess certain forbidden knowledge. The stellar archive, it seems, contained such knowledge." The great navigator's crystalline form pulsed with a melancholic light. "The archive is vast. It contains not only the story of humanity, but their understanding of cosmic phenomena, their theories on the fabric of reality itself. And within that, it appears, they stumbled upon a truth that threatened the very foundations of the silencer's existence." Ilara, the Zidonian delegate, projected a thought that sent a ripple of unease through the chamber. "The stellar archive speaks of a cosmic anomaly, a signal, ancient, powerful, a signal that the silencers have spent millennia trying to suppress. They are not acting out of malice towards humanity, but out of a desperate, millennia-old directive to protect a galactic equilibrium, an equilibrium that humanity's discovery threatened to shatter." The matriarch's luminous form intensified, a beacon of ancient wisdom and newfound resolve. The invasion of Earth was not an act of war, but an act of desperate censorship. Humanity, in its quest for knowledge, stumbled upon a truth that the silencers deemed too dangerous for the galaxy. They did not attack Earth to conquer it, but to prevent the dissemination of this truth. She paused, her voice a chorus of ethereal whispers that filled the silent chamber. "The title that brought us here, Council stunned, they're invading Earth. Who attacks Earth and expects to survive?" The answer is now clear. They attacked Earth because Earth was the threat, not the species, but the knowledge it had uncovered. And they attacked Earth because they believed with absolute certainty that no species capable of uncovering such a truth should be allowed to survive and spread it. A profound silence descended upon the grand conclave chamber. The tragedy of Earth was immense, but from its ashes, a new understanding was born. Humanity, in its brief but brilliant existence, had touched upon something that resonated across the cosmos, a truth so profound that it commanded the attention of ancient, clandestine forces. The stellar archive, the dying testament of a species, was now a beacon in the darkness, carrying not just the story of humanity, but the echo of a cosmic secret, a secret that had claimed their world, but that would now, perhaps, reshape the galaxy. The fear that had gripped the Directorate began to subside, replaced by a chilling, dawning realization of the true scale of the universe and the hidden powers that shaped its destiny. The legacy of Earth was not extinction, but revelation.